I bought this suit 7 years ago. Navy blue. Off the rack from a department store having a clearance sale. The shoulders are a bit tight now, and there's a small coffee stain on the left cuff that never quite came out. But it's clean, pressed, and it's the only one I own. Today is Riley's graduation from Campbell University. Architecture program, summa cum laude. I've been looking forward to this day since she was 8 years old, sitting at our kitchen table, building houses out of toothpicks and glue. The ceremony is at the main auditorium. I arrive 30 minutes early, holding the bouquet of sunflowers I picked up this morning. Sunflowers were her mom's favorite. Julie would have been so proud. I wish she could have seen this. A woman in a pressed suit directs me to the seating area. Front row, she says. Family section. I walk down the aisle, and that's when I see them. Two people I've only seen in photographs that Riley keeps hidden in a drawer. Gregory Hancock, her biological father. Tall, silver hair, wearing a suit that probably costs more than my truck. Next to him sits an older woman, Sloane Hancock, Riley's grandmother. Diamonds on her wrists, pearls around her neck, the kind of wealth that announces itself without saying a word. They've never met Riley. Not once in 20 years. I find my assigned seat in the front row. There's a small card on the chair, the kind they use to mark reserved seating at fancy events. I pick it up. Tanner Murray, uneducated stepfather/temporary guardian. I read it twice. The words don't change. Gregory glances at me, then at the card in my hand. He leans toward his mother and whispers something. Sloane smiles, the kind that doesn't reach the eyes. She looks me up and down. The department store suit, the scuffed work boots I tried to polish this morning, the calluses on my hands that 20 years of carpentry work leave behind. Reserved seating is quite specific today, Gregory says, loud enough for me to hear. Honor placements are for those with pedigree and credentials. Sloane adjusts her pearl necklace. One can always tell breeding, or the lack of it. I look at the card again. Temporary guardian. Like I was some court-appointed stranger who showed up for a paycheck and left when the job was done. I raised Riley. Changed diapers at 2 in the morning. Taught her to ride a bike. Worked double shifts at the workshop and weekends doing furniture restoration so she could go to summer architecture camp instead of staying home. I turned down 3 promotions over the years because they would have meant travel, and I wasn't going to miss her school plays or parent-teacher conferences. I never asked the Hancocks for a single dollar. Not one. They sent a check once, when Riley was 10. $5,000 with a note that said, for the child's expenses. I sent it back the same day. Around me, the auditorium fills with families. Mothers crying happy tears. Fathers adjusting cameras. Siblings holding balloons. Everyone here is celebrating someone they love, someone they raised, someone they sacrificed for. I look down at my suit. The tight shoulders. The coffee stain. The boots that don't quite match. Gregory whispers to Sloane again. Smells like sawdust, doesn't it? She laughs quietly, covering her mouth with a gloved hand. I stand up. This is Riley's day. Her moment of achievement. She worked so hard for this. She doesn't need her graduation remembered as the day her stepfather sat in the front row looking like he didn't belong while her biological family sat in judgment. I can watch from the back, or from outside, anywhere but here, where my presence might cast a shadow on her moment of light. I start walking toward the aisle, holding my sunflowers, trying to move quickly before the ceremony starts. That's when I hear her voice over the sound system. Dad, please stay. The entire auditorium goes quiet. I'm halfway up the aisle when I hear footsteps behind me, quick and purposeful. Riley isn't at the podium anymore. She's walking straight toward me, her graduation gown flowing behind her, cap still on her head. Dean Lindsay is standing at the microphone looking confused. 200 people are watching. She reaches me and takes the sunflowers from my hand. These are beautiful. Mom would have loved them. Riley, I know what you were doing. She looks past me toward the front row, toward Gregory and Sloane. Her expression hardens. And I know why. She turns and walks back down the aisle. Not to the stage. To the front row, where the Hancocks are sitting. She stops directly in front of them. You need to move, she says. Her voice is steady, clear. Sloane blinks. Excuse me. Those seats. They're not yours. Move. Gregory stands up slowly. Riley, we're your family. Your grandmother flew in from. You're not my family. You're people who share some DNA with me. There's a difference. She points to a section 3 rows back. There are empty seats over there. Use them. The auditorium is absolutely silent. Sloane's face turns red, but she stands, gathering her purse with shaking hands. Gregory follows, his jaw tight. They move to the back section without another word. Riley walks over to me, takes my hand, and leads me to the front row, center seat, right next to where Dean Lindsay is supposed to sit. "This is where you belong," she says quietly. She hands me her cap and walks up to the stage. Dean Lindsay steps aside, giving her the microphone. She unfolds a piece of paper, looks at it for 3 seconds, then sets it down. "I had a speech written," she begins. "It was about foundation and structure, about how buildings need solid ground to stand on. But I'm not going to read it." She looks directly at me. "When I was 7, my mom died. Cancer. I watched my dad work 2 jobs, take care of her, and still show up to every single one of my school events. After she passed, people told him to send me to my biological father's family. They had money, resources, nannies. He could have had his life back." Her voice doesn't waver. "He said no. He told me that a structure is only as strong as its foundation, and that he'd already built ours. We didn't need their money. We didn't need their name. We had something better. We had each other, and we had our hands." She holds up her own hands. "These hands learned to draw blueprints on our kitchen table. These hands learned that hard work isn't something to be ashamed of. My dad never went to college. He didn't need to. He learned architecture by actually building things, by understanding wood and stone and steel from the inside out." Sloane shifts in her seat 3 rows back. Gregory stares straight ahead. "This degree has my last name on it. Murray, not Hancock, because I'm not a Hancock. I never was. I'm my father's daughter, and everything I built started on the foundation he gave me." The applause starts slow, then builds. Someone in the back stands up, then another, then the whole auditorium. Riley walks off the stage, straight to me. She sits down in the seat next to mine. Dean Lindsay returns to the microphone. "I believe that concludes our student speeches. Let's proceed with the ceremony." Riley leans over and whispers, "I saw the card, the one on your seat." "It doesn't matter," I tell her. "Yes, it does." The ceremony continues. Names are called. When Riley's name is announced, she walks across the stage, shakes Dean Lindsay's hand, and holds up her diploma toward me, not toward the Hancocks. When it's over, people come up to congratulate her. Professors, classmates, their families. Riley introduces me to every single one as my dad. Not stepfather, not guardian. Dad. Gregory and Sloane stand near the exit, watching. They don't approach. Sloane looks like she wants to disappear. Gregory's face is stone. As we're leaving, Sloane steps forward, blocking our path. Her smile is back, but it's strained. "Riley, darling, we should talk. About your future. Now that you've graduated, there are opportunities." "No, thank you. Your father's company could." I said no. Riley's voice is polite, but final. "I already have plans. With my dad." Sloane's eyes flick to me, then back to Riley. "You're making a mistake. Our family can offer you things that he simply cannot provide." Riley smiles. "You're right. You can offer me things he can't. A last name I don't want. Money I don't need. And a family that shows up only when it's convenient." She takes my arm and we walk past them, through the auditorium doors, into the sunlight. In the parking lot, Riley finally lets out a long breath. "I've wanted to say that for about 10 years. You didn't have to." "Yes, I did. They don't get to show up and pretend. Not anymore." My truck is parked at the far end. We start walking toward it. Before I can unlock it, my phone buzzes. A text from a number I don't recognize. "We need to speak. Tomorrow, 9 a.m. Hancock and Lindsay offices. This concerns Riley's inheritance and future opportunities." Sloane Hancock. I show Riley the text. She reads it and rolls her eyes. "Are you going to go?" I look back toward the auditorium, where I can still see Gregory and Sloane standing near their black luxury sedan. "Yeah," I say. "I'll go. Let's see what they want." The Hancock and Lindsay construction offices are downtown, 23rd floor of a glass tower that reflects the morning sun like a mirror. I park my truck in the visitor section, between a Mercedes and a Tesla. The lobby has marble floors and a receptionist who looks at my work boots twice before asking if I have an appointment. I give her Sloane's name. She makes a call, then directs me to the elevators. 23rd floor. The doors open to a reception area with leather chairs and abstract art on the walls. A young woman in a pressed suit leads me down a hallway to a conference room. Gregory is already there, sitting at the head of a long table. Sloane sits to his right. There are three other people I don't recognize, all wearing expensive suits, all holding tablets and leather portfolios. Mr. Murray, Gregory says, standing. He doesn't offer his hand. Thank you for coming. You said it was about Riley. It is. Please sit. I take a seat across from him. Sloane doesn't look at me. She's staring at a folder in front of her, her fingers drumming on the table. Gregory clears his throat. I'll get straight to the point. Hancock and Lindsay Construction is facing a significant challenge. We've been selected to restore the Murray Memorial Building, the historic structure on 5th and Washington. I know the building. 1892 construction, original stonework, one of the oldest standing structures in the city. It's been empty for 15 years, protected by historical preservation laws. The contract is worth $40 million, Gregory continues. It would secure our company's position for the next decade. There's just one problem. One of the suits, a man with gray hair and wire-rimmed glasses, speaks up. The project requires approval from a federal consultant, someone certified in 19th century restoration techniques. We've submitted our proposal 7 times. It's been rejected 7 times. Sloane finally looks up. The consultant is anonymous. We don't know who he is. We only have an email address and a project reference number. No meetings, no phone calls, just written rejections. He goes by T. Murray, the gray-haired man adds. We've tried everything. Contacted the preservation board, reached out to universities, even hired investigators. Nobody knows his identity. He evaluates projects remotely, and his decisions are final. Gregory leans forward. Without his approval, we lose the contract. Without the contract, we lose the company. We're 3 months from bankruptcy. I don't say anything. I just wait. Sloane opens the folder in front of her. We're telling you this because Riley is, technically, a Hancock. By blood. She has a claim to the family legacy, whether she wants it or not. She doesn't want it. I say. That's not the point. Sloane's voice sharpens. The point is that this company has been in our family for 3 generations. If it collapses, it affects her inheritance, her opportunities, her future. Gregory nods. We're asking you to encourage Riley to work with us. She's brilliant, top of her class. If she joins the redesign team, adds her perspective to the proposal, maybe this consultant will finally approve it. I look at him. You want Riley to fix your mistakes. We want Riley to be part of her family's legacy. Sloane snaps. Something you've actively prevented for 20 years. I never prevented anything. I say quietly. You sent 1 check. 1. When she was 10. You didn't come to her school plays. You didn't call on her birthdays. You didn't show up when Julie was dying. You had 20 years to be part of her life. You chose not to be. Gregory's jaw tightens. We're choosing now. We're here, aren't we? We came to her graduation. You came because you need something. Sloane stands up, her chair scraping against the floor. This is pointless. He's not going to help. Wait. The gray-haired man holds up a hand. He looks at me carefully. Mr. Murray, you work in construction, correct? Restoration, carpentry, furniture mostly, some structural work. Have you ever worked on historical buildings? A few. Which ones? I list 3 projects from the last 5 years. Small jobs, local landmarks, nothing major. The gray-haired man types something into his tablet, then frowns. You're listed as a contractor on the Harrison House restoration. That was a federally protected site. You would have needed clearance for that. I had clearance. From who? The preservation board. He types again, scrolls, then looks up. The approval signature on that project is from T. Murray. The room goes quiet. Gregory stares at me. You know him. I know the name. Can you contact him? Put in a good word for us. I stand up. I don't think that's going to help you. Sloane moves around the table, blocking my path to the door. We're offering Riley a future, a career, a legacy. Don't you want that for her? I want her to build her own legacy. I say, not inherit someone else's. I walk past her, open the conference room door, and leave. In the elevator going down, I pull out my phone and open my email. There are 14 messages in my work account, the one I use for project consultations. The account name is simple, T. Murray, Restorations. The most recent email is from Hancock and Lindsay Construction. Proposal submission number 8. I don't open it. I already know I'm going to reject it. I send the email at 8 in the morning. Short, professional, the same format I've used for 20 years. Proposal rejected. Structural concerns remain unaddressed. Foundation specifications inadequate for load-bearing requirements. Material choices incompatible with preservation standards. Resubmission permitted with comprehensive redesign. T. Murray, Federal Restoration Consultant. Then I had one more line. In-person consultation available. Tomorrow, 10 a.m., Hancock and Lindsay offices. It's the first time in my career I've offered a face-to-face meeting. The Preservation Board doesn't require it. Most contractors prefer the anonymity. It keeps things clean, professional, free from politics and personal agendas. But this isn't about keeping things clean anymore. Riley calls me at 9. Did you really reject their proposal again? How did you know? Sloan called. She's furious. She said you're sabotaging them. I'm doing my job. She also said you're the consultant they've been trying to reach. Is that true? I don't answer right away. Riley waits. Yes, I finally say. She's quiet for a long moment. Then she laughs. Dad, you've been the one rejecting them this whole time. Their proposals are garbage. Structurally unsound, historically inaccurate, and built around cutting costs instead of preserving integrity. They have no idea, do they? They will tomorrow. I'm coming with you. Riley, you don't have to. Yes, I do. I want to see their faces when they figure it out. The next morning, we arrive at the Hancock and Lindsay offices together. Same building, same marble lobby, same 23rd floor. But this time, I'm not here as Riley's stepfather. I'm here as the man who controls whether their company survives. The receptionist recognizes me from yesterday. She looks confused when I tell her I'm here for the 10 o'clock meeting with Gregory Hancock. Mr. Murray is already in the conference room, she says. I know, I tell her. Riley grins. We walk down the hallway. The conference room door is closed. Through the glass walls, I can see Gregory, Sloan, and at least 8 other people. Lawyers, architects, consultants. They're all standing around the table, looking at blueprints and talking urgently. I open the door. Everyone stops talking. Gregory looks up, annoyance flashing across his face. Mr. Murray, we're in the middle of a very important meeting. If you need to speak with Riley, you'll have to wait. I'm not here for Riley, I say. I walk to the head of the table and set down my worn leather satchel, the one I've carried to every job site for 15 years. I'm here for the 10 o'clock consultation. Sloan frowns. The consultant isn't here yet. Yes, he is. I pull out my tablet, open the file with their 8th proposal, and place it on the table. Then I pull out my federal certification card, the one issued by the National Preservation Board, and set it next to the tablet. The card reads, T. Murray, Senior Restoration Consultant, Federal Clearance Level 5. Gregory picks up the card. His hand is shaking slightly. He reads it twice, then looks at me. You? Me? Sloan stands up so fast her chair falls backward. This is absurd. You're a carpenter. You work with furniture. You don't have the credentials to. I have exactly the credentials required, I say calmly. I've held federal certification for 18 years. I've consulted on 47 restoration projects across 15 states. I'm one of 12 people in the country qualified to approve 19th century preservation work. The gray-haired man from yesterday is staring at his tablet, scrolling frantically. T. Murray. Tanner Murray. He's been using his first initial this whole time. Professional privacy, I explain. Most contractors don't need to know who I am. They just need to know their work meets standards. Gregory slams his hand on the table. You've been rejecting our proposals deliberately. This is personal. No, this is professional. I open the file on my tablet and pull up their latest submission. Your foundation design uses modern concrete reinforcement in a structure that requires period-appropriate limestone footings. You specified pressure-treated lumber for load-bearing beams in a building that needs old-growth timber. You're trying to restore a piece of history with materials from a hardware store. I swipe to the next page. Your budget allocates 60% to cosmetic exterior work and only 20% to structural integrity. You're building a facade, not a restoration. The Murray Memorial Building is 132 years old. It deserves better than this. Sloan's face is pale. You can't do this. We'll file a complaint with the Preservation Board. We'll have you removed from the project. Go ahead, I say, but you should know that I don't work for you. I work for the board and the building. My job is to make sure that structure is still standing in another 100 years. Your job is to prove you can make that happen. Riley is standing near the door, arms crossed, watching. She's trying not to smile. Gregory sits down slowly. What do you want? I want you to do the job right. We can revise the proposal, bring in new engineers, change the materials. That's a start, I say. But there's more. Sloan looks at me with pure hatred. What more could you possibly want? I pull out a folder from my satchel. Inside are contracts, specifications, and architectural drawings. Riley's work. Design she completed for her senior thesis project, a theoretical restoration of the Murray Memorial Building. I place the folder on the table. Riley Murray will be lead architect on this project. She'll report directly to me. Every design decision goes through her. Every material choice, every structural modification, every timeline adjustment. She has final approval on everything except safety and historical accuracy. Those belong to me. Gregory stares at the folder like it's a bomb. You're serious? Completely. And if we refuse? I pick up my tablet and certification card. Then I reject proposal number 8 and 9, and however many you submit after that. I walk toward the door, then stop and look back. You wanted Riley to be part of the family legacy. Here's your chance. Work for her. They sign the contracts 3 days later. Gregory's signature looks angry, the pen pressed so hard it nearly tears the paper. Sloan doesn't sign anything. She just sits at the far end of the conference table, staring out the window. Riley reads every page before signing. She's meticulous, crossing out clauses, adding amendments, initialing changes. When she's done, she slides the stack of papers back across the table to Gregory. One more thing, she says. Gregory looks up, exhausted. What now? I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing it for the building. And for my dad. If you interfere with my decisions, if you try to cut corners or rush timelines to save money, I walk. And he walks. Understood. Gregory nods. He doesn't argue. The next 2 months are intense. Riley and I work from my shop, the same space where I taught her to read blueprints when she was 12. We spread her drawings across the workbenches, compare them against historical records, adjust measurements down to the millimeter. The Hancock and Lindsay team sends updates every week. Progress reports, material orders, contractor schedules. Riley reviews everything, sends back revisions, rejects anything that doesn't meet standards. Gregory tries to push back twice. Once about the timeline, once about the budget. Both times, Riley shuts him down with technical justifications so detailed he can't argue. I watch her handle him with the same calm precision she uses when drawing load-bearing calculations. Sloan, meanwhile, tries a different approach. She invites Riley to lunch, then to a charity gala, then to a family dinner at the Hancock estate. Riley declines all of them. They still don't get it, Riley says one afternoon, rolling up a set of structural plans. They think this is about forgiveness or reconciliation. It's not. This is a job. When it's done, we're done. You don't owe them anything, I tell her. I know, but I owe the Murray Memorial Building something. It deserves to be restored properly. That's the only reason I'm here. 6 weeks into the project, Gregory calls an emergency meeting. Something about the foundation excavation. Riley and I drive to the site together. The Murray Memorial Building sits on a corner lot, surrounded by chain-link fencing and construction equipment. The exterior is covered in scaffolding. Workers in hard hats move around the perimeter, carrying tools and materials. Gregory meets us at the entrance. He looks stressed, his tie loosened, sleeves rolled up. We hit a problem, he says, leading us inside. The interior is gutted, just bare walls and exposed beams. The foundation. It's worse than the surveys indicated. We're going to need additional reinforcement. Costs just went up by $2 million. Riley walks to the center of the space, looking up at the ceiling beams. Show me the engineering report. Gregory hands her a tablet. She scrolls through it, frowning. These numbers don't match the soil density tests from last month. We ran new tests, Gregory says. The ground composition is different than we thought. I take the tablet from Riley and read through the report. The testing company is one I've never heard of. The data looks wrong. Too convenient, too perfectly aligned with justifications for expensive fixes. Who authorized these new tests? I ask. Gregory hesitates. I did. We needed updated information before proceeding. Without consulting Riley or me, it was time sensitive. Riley crosses her arms. Let me see the original soil reports. The ones from the university survey team. Those are outdated. Show me. Gregory pulls up another file. Riley compares the two reports side by side, then looks at me. The soil composition hasn't changed, she says quietly. These new tests are fabricated. Someone's trying to inflate the budget. Gregory's face goes red. That's a serious accusation. It's a serious problem, I say. If you're falsifying engineering reports to justify cost overruns, this project stops right now. I didn't falsify anything. Gregory snaps. The testing company is owned by a subsidiary of Hancock and Lindsay, Riley finishes. She's still scrolling through the tablet. I just checked the business registration. You hired your own people to produce data that benefits you financially. The silence in the gutted building is complete. Gregory takes a breath. Look, the foundation does need work. That part is true. We needed to make sure there was enough budget allocated. By lying to the federal consultant overseeing your project? I take the tablet back. This isn't just unethical. It's fraud. I could have your certification pulled. The entire company blacklisted. Please. Gregory's voice cracks. This company is all I have. My father built it. My grandfather before him. If it fails, then let it fail honestly, Riley says. Her voice is hard. My dad taught me that a structure is only as strong as its foundation. That includes the foundation of how you do business. If you can't build this restoration on integrity, then you don't deserve to build it at all. She walks toward the exit. I follow. Behind us, Gregory calls out. Riley, wait. We can fix this. I'll fire the testing company. We'll use the original data. We'll do it right. Riley stops at the doorway but doesn't turn around. You had your chance to do it right the first time. And the second, and the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth times you submitted proposals to my dad. Every single time, you chose profit over principle. She turns to face him. This project continues under one condition. You transfer 40% ownership of Hancock and Lindsay Construction to me. Not as a gift, as payment for fixing 2 decades of your incompetence. And you step down as CEO. I'll find someone qualified to run the company. Someone who actually knows what integrity means. Gregory stares at her. You can't be serious. I'm completely serious. Sign over 40% by Friday, or I walk. And when I walk, so does my dad. And when he walks, your company dies. She leaves. I stay long enough to see Gregory's face as he realizes she means every word. Then I follow her out into the sunlight. Gregory signs the papers on Thursday afternoon. 40% ownership transferred to Riley Murray. CEO position vacant, effective immediately. Sloan doesn't attend the signing. She's already left the city, according to Gregory's lawyer. Riley hires Dean Lindsay to run Hancock and Lindsay Construction. He's retired from the university, looking for a new challenge, and he actually understands historical preservation. Within 2 weeks, he's restructured the entire operation. The Murray Memorial Building restoration continues. But now it's not Hancock and Lindsay's project. It's ours. For months later, the building is finished. Original limestone foundation, period-accurate timber framing, restored stonework that looks exactly like it did in 1892. Every detail precise, every measurement exact, every material chosen for longevity instead of cost. The city holds a dedication ceremony on a Saturday morning. The mayor gives a speech about preserving history. The Historical Society presents an award. Local news cameras film everything. Gregory shows up, standing at the back of the crowd. He's thinner than I remember, wearing a suit that looks too big for him. He doesn't try to speak to Riley or me. He just watches, then leaves before the ceremony ends. Sloan doesn't come at all. After the dedication, Riley and I walk through the building one last time. Our footsteps echo in the empty halls. Sunlight streams through the original windows, hitting the restored woodwork, making it glow. Mom would have loved this, Riley says quietly. She would have been proud of you. Riley runs her hand along a window frame, feeling the craftsmanship. You know what's funny? They spent 20 years thinking their last name made them important, thinking money and legacy meant something. But they couldn't build anything that lasted. Not one thing. She looks at me. You built me. You built this. You built a career that nobody even knew about because you didn't need recognition. You just needed to do the work right. I don't know what to say to that, so I don't say anything. We walk to the entrance. On the wall, there's a bronze plaque. Riley insisted on it. The inscription reads, Murray Memorial Building. Restored 2025. Lead architect, Riley Murray. Senior restoration consultant, T. Murray. Hancock and Lindsay Construction. Their name is listed last. Smallest text on the plaque. Outside, the neighborhood has started to change. New businesses are opening on the block. People walk past the building, stopping to look at it, taking photos. The restoration brought attention to the area, turned it into something worth preserving. Riley's phone buzzes. She checks it, then smiles. Dean says 3 new contracts came in today. Buildings in other cities that need restoration work. They saw what we did here. We, Murray and Associates. I filed the paperwork last week. We're officially a firm now. You and me. Architecture and restoration. She shows me the business registration on her phone. Murray and Associates. Co-founders, Tanner Murray and Riley Murray. You didn't have to do that, I say. Yes, I did. You've been doing this alone for 20 years. Building things, fixing things, making sure history doesn't disappear. It's time you had a partner. A car pulls up to the curb. Dean Lindsay gets out, carrying a folder. He walks over, shakes my hand, then Riley's. The final inspection report came through, he says, handing Riley the folder. Perfect score. The Preservation Board wants to feature this project in their national publication. Riley flips through the report, then passes it to me. Every category marked excellent. Every standard exceeded. It's the kind of evaluation that most restoration projects never achieve. There's one more thing, Dean says. He looks slightly uncomfortable. Gregory Hancock contacted me this morning. He wants to sell his remaining 60% of the company. He's moving to Arizona. Starting over. Good for him, Riley says simply. He asked if you'd be interested in buying him out. Riley looks at me. I know what she's thinking. We could own the whole company. Control every project, every decision. Build the kind of restoration firm that actually does things right. No, Riley says. Keep it public. Sell the shares to preservation organizations, historical societies, people who actually care about the work. Turn it into something that can't be corrupted by one family's ego. Dean nods slowly. I'll make the arrangements. He leaves. Riley and I stand there, looking at the building we restored together. The building that carries our name, our work, our standard of what matters. I still have the graduation card in my workshop. Uneducated stepfather/temporary guardian. I kept it as a reminder, not of the insult, but of how wrong people can be when they measure worth by the wrong standards. Riley links her arm through mine. Come on, Dad. We've got 3 new projects to review, and I'm pretty sure at least one of them is going to need your approval as federal consultant. We walk to my truck. Same vehicle I've driven for 12 years. Same work boots, same calloused hands, same department store suit hanging in my closet for the next important event. But now, when people see my name on a building, they know exactly what it means. Not temporary, not uneducated, just someone who built something that lasts. Riley climbs into the passenger seat. Where to first? Home, I say. We'll review the contracts at the kitchen table. Same place we always work. Same place we build everything, she agrees. I start the engine and pull away from the Murray Memorial Building. In the rearview mirror, I can see it standing solid and permanent, a piece of history preserved for the next 100 years. We built that, and we're just getting started.